Group 7, and we analyzed the Florida Gators SEC East Championship winning seasons and what factors led them to winning, and just looked for correlations between the variables that we decided to look at. So we looked at points scored, points allowed, those are averages over the course of a season, as well as head coaching tenure, winning percentages for seasons, quarterback passing percentages, kicking statistics, and then we compared them to each other, seeking to find trends that led to winning an SEC East championship. So we found our data from sportsreference.com. It had information for all the different years, and we went from 1990 to 2018 and extracted data from their website in the certain areas that we chose were relevant from this site. And then we put it into Excel and imported it to Tableau and created our pages. Here it is in Tableau, all the data that we compiled, and now we're going to talk about what we found.
Okay. Here, I'm going to give you a picture of what we do. Here is the trail of the average points scored per game. And in this graph, as you can see, in 2 of the 3 seasons with the highest average points scored per game, UF won the championship. Likewise, in most years, with low average points scored, failed to produce a championship. An exception is found in 2015 and 2016, but this can be explained by graph the average points allowed per game, which is our next graph. Okay, in this graph, we give the line chart of the average points allowed per game along years, and as you can see, there are 3 important points we gave. In the 2006, the average points allowed per game is 13.50, and in 2008, the average points allowed per game is 12.90, and in the year 2009, the average points allowed per game is 12.40. And in those lowest allowed per game, they win the championships. And here, I'm going to talk about the average defense yards allowed, the change along the time. As you can see, this shows a more striking difference in the 1998 year. While UF did not win an SEC East title this year, the team finished 4th overall in the nation. And this graph allowed us to realize that even doing exceptionally well statistically sometimes does not lead to a title if there is just one team that can do it better. Once we realized that the coaching may have effect on the likelihood of winning a title, we decided to visualize Florida's coaches' tenures, which goes to our next graph. The relationship of head tenure year with the year. And we were not surprised to learn that 10 of the 14 SEC East titles Florida has won were under the 2 coaches with the most tenure. Realizing this, we want to investigate the trends of UF coaches and their winning percentages. And as you can see in this graph, after we graphed this scatter plot, we filled in the circles representing the years UF won an SEC East title. So as you can see, it is very unlikely for a head coach to win the title in this first year of coaching. It has only happened once, so this may be due to lack of experience and the familiarity of a new coach. So given this information, we next decided to visualize the seasons with the highest winning percentage at UF.
So here are the top winning percentages over the course of a season for UF football. As you can see, of the top 8 highest of the top 11 highest winning percentage seasons, UF won the SEC East title 6 times. So there was a correlation in overall high winning percentages and SEC East championships. So moving on, we wanted to analyze what was causing these winning percentages to increase, and we thought that starting quarterback passing percentage might have a link. And we did see that the correlation was positive. In the years when the UF quarterback passing rate was the highest, UF also had the highest winning percentage right here, and also won the SEC East title. That was thanks to Tim Tebow. So after looking at quarterback, we wanted to look at kicker and see what caused increases in winning percentage and if it was maybe linked to that. So what we found with kicking was a little interesting. We did not find any link between kicking talent and winning a championship. So we wanted to zoom in on 2017. This is when UF had the highest record for field goal percentages, and it was at 94%. But the problem is they didn't win a championship that year, and they actually had an overall season winning percentage of 36%. In contrast, we saw in 2006 when the team had a high winning percentage of about 85% for the season. They only had a field goal percentage of 40%. So our team developed this theory that perhaps when a coach has a good kicker, they rely more on them to get those 3-point field goals versus going for a touchdown, which is 7 points. And the opposite, when they don't have a good kicker, they rely on the offense to score a touchdown. So we decided to test that, and we graphed average points scored per game with the average field goal percentage. And here what we found supported our claim. In 1996, the blue line represents the points scored, and the orange line represents the kicker's field goal percentage. So in 1996, when the field goal percentage wasn't that great, they didn't have a great kicker. They actually scored more points than they had before. So that's going in line that when the kicker isn't great, they rely on their offense and actually do score more points. Later on, we saw that the roles reversed in 2016 when the kicker was really, really good, 84% chance of completing the field goal. The average game points scored was very low, one of the lowest in UF season history. So lastly, we wanted to look at if punting had any connection with scoring and with an SEC East title. In UF's 8 top averages of punting, only 3 of them resulted in an SEC East championship. So this confirmed that a strong offense and strong defensive effort are essential to winning a title, and that resting on special teams, they will not provide results.
So once we were done with the worksheets, we started creating dashboards to compare the data between the worksheets. So in order to do that, we first created a dashboard, which is the winning percentage and kicker field goal percentage comparison. So here we analyzed if a season's winning percentage and the average field goal percentage were linked or not. So this shows the one in the above, it's the worksheet that is related to the winning percentage, and the one in the below, it shows the kicker field goal percentage. And on the right side, we added the filters, and the years that is to be highlighted. So as you can see, in the years 2013 and 2017, the field goal percentage does not correlate with the winning percentage. While in 1995, we had one of the best winning percentages. It had one of the lowest field goal percentage. The same was true for 2006, and the inverse was true for 2017. Next, we created another dashboard to analyze the quarterback passing and head coach tenure in comparison with the winning percentages. So right side we have the filter values, where we can filter the year and the winning percentage and the head coach tenure. We thought that these may be correlated, as head coach's increased experience may affect the quarterback's passing percentage, while we would be linked to the points scored and the winning percentage. We found that both analyses have positive trends, and with the filters uncovered the strong connection between winning percentage and the championship wins, along with the head coach tenure greater than 1. So we can do that by adjusting this filter. So here you can find that most number of wins are possible when the head coach tenure is at least 2. Yes. So once we were done with this, we started creating a story. The first story created, here we can find that in 1996, Danny Werfel graduated, and from then the average points scored per game started declining. And the next story we created, we gave insight being the highest field goal percentage. This was due to UF's head football coach recruiting former Alabama commit Eddie Pinheiro and extending him a full-time scholarship to play at the UF. That was in the year 2017. And the next story we created, we elaborated on the longest tenured coach in the span of our data, that is Steve Spurrier. He is responsible for most amount of SEC East titles earned by a single coach at UF and achieved legendary status among the Florida faithful. The football field at UF was recently renamed in his honor. And the last story that we created, it shows that we highlighted all the time highest punting average record at University of Florida, as well as the second highest set in 2016 and 2017 respectively. This fact is exciting because there are a set of brothers, namely Johnny Townsend and Tommy Townsend.
So this is our project, and in summary, we have a few findings from our analysis. So a football team can have a good performance through keeping a low defensive score, and that can lead to a championship. The tenure of coaches also does make a difference in winning probability of a team. We saw that after that first year, there's just much more likelihood of doing well in the season, and the probability of winning an SEC East championship rises. Also, statistically important factors such as offensive yards gained and passing rate don't necessarily guarantee a championship title. But there are correlations, and winning percentage is correlated to the passing percentage. That was one of the main challenges, though, that we did find in our analysis, that since sports are so dependent on how the other teams are doing, there's no hard mark to measure against all years. So that's our only major limitation with this analysis, but we do think that this model could be expanded to other football teams around the country, and there would definitely be interest in people seeing that. And it would be neat to expand this to other teams and cross-compare what is working well for other teams to win a championship, and see if that would also be true of other teams such as here at UF. So we had a great time doing this project. We feel like we've just chipped the tip of the iceberg, and we're excited to learn more about data analysis and visualization.